So, I hope you can hear me. This is for young people. I know there's a lot of young people watching me. A lot of them shouldn't be, because they were in my classes over the years, but they know my cat's name, so they track me down. I want to say a few things so that you don't wind up so much like me. I mean that. There's a lot of things that young people today misunderstand and that they're doing and not doing that are not good for you. The first thing is that if you try to live your life comfortably, if you wear earphones and you find that comfortable and you're on your phone while you're on your earphones and you have your hoodie on, I'm not sure you guys know what you're missing, because interacting with other people is going to be a skill that you will need forever. And if you're hiding from the world, you're hiding from each other, you're hiding from sports, you're hiding from the beauty of the beach, you're hiding from going hiking, you're hiding from training yourself in the way that you need to. And you can do it. Most people do it. But you're also missing out on your education. If you go to class and you sit there in your hoodie and you're wearing all your gear and you're connected, it's like you're in the Matrix in a real way. It's like you're in a different reality and you're not aware of it. And there's a whole nother world out there that is passing you by. And tomorrow you're 50 and then you're dead. And how many people you really know? The ones you meet online, how many do you really know? And how many can you really know? If you're online talking to people, they might even seem like friends. They might be the first ones there when something bad happens. But they're not really your friends. They're not going to be the first one to show up if, God forbid, you're in the hospital. You don't really know them. It's not real. You can't fall in love with somebody online. You won't go through the vicissitudes, the ups and downs of life. It's not real. So that's one. If you can't get off it right away, you don't have to. I use my cell phone. Everyone does. But maybe you can use it a quarter of the time less and use that time to interact with other people. Make friends. Go out. Do things. It's hard to believe that kids today don't go outside and play. Don't ride bicycles. At least where I've been working, they haven't been. The second thing is, along the same lines, if you do what's comfortable for you, you're going to be very uncomfortable. Life is filled with, and as you get older, you'll see so much pain. You're all under stress. Everyone has tremendous anxiety. Everyone is fighting to have enough money to get by, and no one really is. Almost like money itself is a debt. When you have it, you're in debt. You don't have it, you're in debt. You try to get it to pay your debts, you're in more debt. So there's so much of that. And people have problems at home, and most people don't have two parents, and you've developed a lot of inner strength from that. That's good. It's also part of why you're on your phones all day and hiding from the world. That part's understandable. But ironically, what will help you the most is putting yourself in more pain. There's good pain and bad pain. Bad pain hurts you, it injures you. My friend says, I'd rather be sore than injured. I'd rather be injured than sick. I'd rather be sick than dead. I agree with that. The thing to avoid is injury, but every once in a while, if you're training hard, if you're working out, you will get injured. But for the most part, you'll just be sore. But what you will get if you don't push yourself physically, and I mean pretty much every day, if you don't put yourself through that pain, life is going to be filled with more pain. So let's just use a scale of 1 to 10. If you push yourself to 7, right, the things in life that are a 6 will be very easy for you. Whereas if you're not training, the things that are a 6 are going to be compared to a 0, right? So if you're up here this will be easy, right? And this will be cake. Even things like school and giving up your cell phones, you'll find it much easier if you get involved in something and do rigorous training on a regular basis. I know you don't want to. Nobody wants to. You're not supposed to want to. There is no, in my opinion, any real motivation or inspiration. It's something you sort of just have to just do. And you'll find out later, or you can not do it and you're going to find life very difficult. It doesn't have to be that way. There's so much more mental pain and anguish, and everything is just harder. Young people like you have it hard these days. There's so much expected of you. Most people don't have two parents. You're living with a brother or your grandma, and it's hard, and no one's really taking care of you, and you have to work, and it's hard. Despite that, if I can make that better, I would. It just is. But despite all of that, if you find a way to train hard, it will all be easier. You'll sleep better. You'll eat better. Everything will be better. The next thing, it's a funny thing. You wouldn't think. It's almost like ironic, but as I said, it has to be that you don't like it. Mike Tyson says the definition of discipline is doing what you hate as if you love it. So the next thing is, since you're young, find an activity, a sport, something you can do forever, and just do it. Just do it as much as you can. When I was young, I did martial arts. I'm still doing it. I wanted to be flexible when I was older, and I am. Believe it or not, I can do splits and all sorts of things, and it helps me. It helps to move lactic acid through your body when you're tired. Whatever. Find something that you love, whatever it may be. It could be dance, ballet, it could be anything, tai chi, but something you can do forever. You can't play football forever. You can't do boxing forever. Find something you can do forever. You can do tai chi forever. There's a martial art called aikido. You can do that forever, but I'm not recommending those. I'm suggesting that you find something you love that gives you some physical benefit and incorporate that into your workout. I know that these things seem hard, but easy just doesn't work. And a lot of young people today, they're so smart and gifted and artistic, and you don't even know it. So that's the next thing, is that you can't depend on the school system to teach you what your talents are. They're not going to really give you aptitude tests anymore, and a lot of things that aren't being taught, like times tables and mathematics. But you might have an aptitude for math. You might have an aptitude for art. And since you are on your phone so much, and since hopefully you'll cut that down a little while you are on it, why not use it to learn something? Why not go to the Khan Academy or whatever and see how your math skills are really, because education today oftentimes celebrates mediocrity. Doesn't mean you're mediocre. Your school might be mediocre. It might be. Who cares? That's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of everything that has nothing to do with you, right? But you don't want to let that filter into your mind. You want to be the best you can be. And by training hard, by finding something that you love that you can do your whole life, by seeing progress in yourself, by tuning in a little bit to the world and tuning out of being tuned in to the technological world, I think you'll start to be happier. And as you look for a career, I want you to know that it's very okay not to know what you want. In fact, it was an ant on my phone. In fact, that might be the best sort of a mindset. People who know what they want since they're young, they're definitely out there. I know a girl who wanted to be a doctor her whole life, and she's doing it and she's happy. But that's the exception. For the most part, don't be afraid to not know. Next, don't be afraid of numbers. This is a mistake that I made. Don't be scared of math. Don't assume that because everyone else hates math, You have to hate math. You don't need to copy other people. When you go online and you read comments, maybe the best thing is not to. Maybe the best thing is to just look at whatever the thing is and then say what you think, and then if you want to, read the comments. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to copy anyone else, that you have your own gifts, you have your own aptitudes, and you have your own defects like everyone else. But once you start copying other people when it comes to school subjects, or I'm just giving this as an example that you might understand better, you become a little bit less of you, and we're going for the opposite. Right? There's so much more, but I just want to say one last thing, with something to not do. And I made all of these mistakes. One is to avoid things that are crazy extreme, like motorcycles, like riding motorcycles very fast. There's nothing terribly wrong with doing motocross in the dirt, but I made the mistake of riding motorcycles crazy fast and doing other things that were extreme. And these extreme sports, they give you a rush and all that, but it's not worth it, because I'm in pain every single day. In every moment, I'm always in pain. It's like my body's a cage. Everything is just agony. I mean that. The motorcycle was fun, but if I can go back in time, and if I weigh that fun against this pain, to make that choice, there is no choice. I know they're cool. It's fun to go fast. You get your buddies on the back. I get the whole thing. It's not worth it. There are some things that are very hard to give up, that are just enjoyable. Find something else, Even if it's a fast car, it's so much better. If you're on a skateboard and you're jumping onto the rails, you're jumping from building to building, if you're doing things like this, one mistake, it's hard to admit you're going to make a mistake, but you probably will. And the more you do it, the more likely it is, the higher the probability, right? So I know it's hard to give these things up, but I'm proposing to you that there is so much to be gained by not engaging in extreme activities. So let's leave it at that for now. I have a lot more I want to share. I just feel like I'm a good example of a bad example, and that I've made so many mistakes that I don't want people to make, because I'm 57 and I'm paying a very, very high price, and I don't want anyone else to ever go through this. So I hope you'll take at least some of it to heart, and I think I'm going to do this again. So I hope it helps. If not, that's okay. It must seem like, I'm just a stranger, you don't know me. All I can tell you is that I have no motive to do this except to try to help you. All right. Thank you for watching.